Right. I want to spend a bit of time. How's it, Nathan? I want to spend a bit of time. How are you, Sachaba? Akil, how are you? No, well, we wouldn't, and that's also not really your fault. I think that's just the nature of the way that distance is progressing. I mean, we have large numbers of students, and I think part of the process of allocating supervisors, all of that is tough. And then some supervisors were unable to take the numbers we were hoping for. So it has been quite a long process. Poor Tammy has just, yeah, been fantastic though. Okay, very cool, Akil. That's nice. But we're here and we can, yeah, we can move forward. I think that's the way I look at this. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. So what I want to do today is spend a bit of time on the issues that my other group that I'm supervising from a different campus have encountered and have presented, and it seems that there's this significant overlap. So I'm going to try and preempt some of the headaches that you might get based on the feedback that I've given those students. So generally, the only feedback that I can give at this stage is don't mess. Yeah, I've already doing the recording. Don't mess with the titles. I think leave your title as it is, get to your supervisor, and then obviously make sure that you present as much information as you can. Your supervisor should have seen all your titles because we had shared the titles and they put their names next to the titles they preferred. There were a couple of titles that were very popular, and yeah, one or two which I was surprised at that weren't popular, and I'm blown away by why they weren't popular because I thought they'd be fantastic. So, what is an effective title? You'll see that as we move forward, we will start making it a little bit more impactful, a little bit attractive. But initially, just use those three words. And if your supervisor tells you otherwise, yeah, do what they say. But try and keep to explore, to describe, and to explain. It just keeps it simple. I'm not a big fan, and another campus that I lecture at, but I don't supervise there. They want terms like a quantitative study and a qualitative study. I find that an absolute superfluous waste of time simply because the reality is that we know that it's a study. We can see in terms of the title what it's going to be. But again, defer to your supervisors, but try and keep your titles as simple as possible. Keep research and study and all of that out of it because it's nonsense. The one thing that my students at the other campus had a real issue with, guys, and you have to be extra careful on this one, is the fact that when we look at the reality, I'm not going to look at parts A and C. When you look at the reality, you have to write it as a problem. You have to write it as a deficiency, as a gap between what should be and what is happening. So what the students often do is that they tell me what the solutions are to the problem instead of discussing the problem. Remember, if you have got the solutions already, then why would we do the research? So be very, very careful to describe it as a shortfall, a deficiency. I don't know what other terms there are. So your focus in terms of the problem statement, as in terms of part B at least, is describe it as a problem. Any questions on that? So this is the issue that we are facing. I mean, I know that, and I've spoken to a supervisor today, Phoenicia, I think it's your supervisor, where we know that AI is the future, but we've not spent any time on AI, including it as a subject or a module within the context of higher education. And we know that businesses are defaulting, and we are trying to prepare students for business. But if businesses want AI as part of their sort of initial skill sets, why aren't we doing it? So that kind of, this is a problem, this is a headache. Everyone okay with that? and everyone has got it as a problem. Anyone concerned about theirs that we can quickly listen to now? Nice, Tonya. Nice, Yashna. Nice, Neil. Pranisha, yeah. So yours is a hell of an interesting study, and yeah, I think you've got a very, very cool supervisor as well. Okay, everyone okay with that one? If you want to be perfect, so Akil, remember, so you would write the problem by supporting it with evidence. So you will tell me what the gap is, but you'll provide evidence. So you'll reference, and initially, don't worry about too many references, because it will obviously grow as we start working towards the next phase. But provide support for the problem. Remember, one of the dangers that you have with the problem statement is that it becomes opinion stated as fact. Remember, you have an opinion because there are some factual evidence to support it. Remember, whenever you do an assignment, you would normally do the theory and then you would look at the facts and you will draw an opinion from there. So be careful that you don't just throw opinions. Give me evidence. Give your supervisors evidence that this is a problem. Okay, that this is a real problem. So Pranisha, for example, yours could be, here are adverts where people are asking for AI, yet we don't have it as a curriculum issue in a qualification. So very clear evidence in terms of that. Now, remember, peer-reviewed evidence, but if you want practical examples of something that had happened, then obviously give the newspaper article, etc., that shows evidence of that happening. Does that make sense, Akil? I think it should make sense. Okay. So if we want to get perfect, now at this stage, I am more concerned about part B than parts A and C. But if we want to be perfect, we would have a statement, and Pranisha, I'm just talking to yours now because it's fresh in my memory, that would go that higher education institutions prepare students to effectively transition to jobs, including the use of AI and related skills. That would be the ideal for me. In terms of the reality, we don't have it. There's this need, but we can't address the need yet. And then part C, I think the key thing here is, in this qualitative research, I intend to interview subject matter experts from whichever industry to determine the potential of including AI as a curriculum issue. So remember those kinds of elements. But for me at this stage, this is hell of important. That one there, part B. If you can get part A and C right, perfect. Please remember also to give me references, to give your supervisors references. Okay, so we definitely need references. Yeah, we don't have a choice. We need references. Okay. Go for it, Gabri.
Hi, Dr. Ini, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good, thanks. So one thing that I'm still thinking about is how long each of these should be, because as I know myself, I don't know how I'm gonna get in a 4-page thing just because it's expected we go through everything. And isn't a problem statement usually like half a page
Yeah, no,
or
well,
less?
remember, but this is your initials problem statement. Okay, so for me, yeah, it's so difficult to say, but your half a page problem statement might even be more when we get to your proposal phase. So here it is an introduction. It's a cursory supported by some evidence. As we move to the next phase, you will have more evidence. I would imagine that you shouldn't go past 4 pages for your problem statement. Oh, no, so not paid problem statement for the entire document. It's been a long day. Not more than 4 pages for the entire document. But remember, this is an initial introduction. This is it's a concept stage where we are getting feedback in terms of what we need to do, where we need to do, etc. Sorry, guys. Gabri, does that make sense?
Yes. So if I can put it as an example, so let's say part B would say maybe be about two sentences with a statistic or your evidence, which
Oh no,
makes, let's say,
I'd
three.
have about I'd have about seven or eight sentences with a statistic. Okay, so
For part B.
for part B. Okay, so that would
Okay.
be your clump. Deirdre, I think if you didn't get carried away, it wouldn't be you, if that makes sense. Deirdre's got quiet. That's fine. If it's more than that, it's absolutely fine. Okay, Gabby, do you want to tell me what your problem is, how you've described it?
So I am not very deep in my process yet because I'm very busy with our assignment due on Friday.
Oh,
But
geez,
I,
which assignment is that? IBMA on Friday? No.
yes,
Oh, great.
I'm
Okay.
finishing that up soon. But basically, what I was having to think about my problem statement was I remember I got your approval to change my topic to actually exploring Gen Z graduates' experiences with internships in the professional services sector in, South Africa. So the problem statement I was thinking would be the problem is that recent graduates are not happy, like they're not satisfied with entering the conditions with entering the working world technically. And the problem is also that maybe organizations don't really understand Gen Z as a generation. And maybe I'm just getting to the fact that maybe the research on Gen Z is not as good as the previous generations yet. So there is still the gap is kind of
Yeah, no,
organizations
absolutely.
need to kind of see what is actually what we actually want.
We're told that Gen Z is this unique group of individuals. Now, if they are so unique, why have organizations not gone and found out what the problem is? So we understand from feedback is that they have different expectations, they bring different sets of skills, they bring different approaches. And in order to effectively accommodate them, we need to understand essentially how to treat them. So you're on track. Just throw in a few references there. But the problem is these
Okay.
people are new. We don't know what they are really like, and how do we keep them? How do we attract them when they start entering the world of work? How old
Okay.
is the oldest Gen Z at this stage, Gabri?
Well, it's a span of 20 years. I actually have no idea. I think
So
it's
it's
about from
20,
2000.
so it's
Is it 2000?
24,
No.
25. I think it is
I feel
2000.
like,
Yeah. So 24. So this would be individuals in the world of work now. So
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to share or talk about their topic? Right. So just remember, part B is the significant one at this stage. We can get perfect in terms of A and C when we get there, but write it as a problem. The other thing that I had an issue with my students from the other campus is that no, purpose statement was fine. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, this wasn't an issue. So the purpose of this paper is so just tell me what it is, to investigate those processes, systems, etc., that can be used to accommodate Gen Z within the context of organizations. And I'm pretty sure you can write it a lot better than that. But the purpose of the paper is what we want to achieve. For Pranisha, it is to determine whether we need to include AI as an additional module to make it as a core element in terms of preparing people for work within a higher education institution. And Pranisha, if I'm wrong, tell me, but I think it's something along those lines. Okay, please also remember, guys, the English is never going to be perfect because I make things up as I sit here. If you really want to be fancy, you can go. The purpose of this phenomenological study. So remember, it's a phenomenology because we're all really looking at a phenomenon. Now, some of your supervisors won't want you to write phenomenology, but at this stage, you can do that, is to explore the potential of including AI within the context of higher education in order to better prepare students for future jobs. Pranisha, how does that sound? So you can be fancy and do it that way, or you can do it. The purpose of this paper is to explore, to describe, to explain the relationship between if you're doing describe and explain. Okay. This is the one the students really had a headache with, guys, is rationale. Well, you're going to reference it, silly Billy. You're not going to copy my slides word for word, but these kinds of things. Sorry. Oh, no, but these are scripts. That's not plagiarism. This is a script that we use to complete. Oh, please don't think that this is plagiarism. These are scripts that are deliberately given. Sorry, Gabri, I understand your question. These are scripts. I mean, you won't pick up. You're going to put in all the extra detail. Let's be honest. There is a significant amount of detail that will go into it. Okay. The rationale my students had a real headache with, and I'm struggling to understand why. And it's because people forgot the question they have to ask. What would happen if I left this problem alone? In terms of Pranisha, let's be honest, if we left it alone, you could end up with a generation of people that are unemployable. I mean, that's extreme, but that's about it. If we think of Gabri's one, we could end up with a situation where we're not able to attract high skills or competent people, and we're not able to retain Gen Z. That's it. And write it as that. Why is it important? Why do Sorry, guys, I've been lecturing with myself on mute. Oh, my word. Okay. Let me try again. I don't know where I stopped talking. Okay, can everyone hear me? This damn thing is just, oh, okay. Right, so in terms of your question, Gabri, remember these scripts are given for a reason. This is not plagiarism, okay? This is definitely not plagiarism. You are literally just stealing bits and pieces from different places. So it's not plagiarism. So whether you use that, that's not plagiarism. I mean, it's a script, it's a prompt. It definitely isn't plagiarism, okay? And also to just say, if you fill in your own blanks here, that will look very, very much different to what is presented there. Okay, so the other thing that my students had a problem with was to write their rationale. Now, I don't know how much went through, but the key thing is to answer the question, what would happen if I left this alone? What would happen if we didn't attend to this problem? In terms of Gabri, we could end up in a situation unable to attract Gen Z and retain Gen Z because of not having the appropriate environment for them. In terms of Pranisha, yours would be something along the lines of that we would be preparing people to be unemployed because we know that there's this desperate need. So ask the question, what would happen if we left this alone? And if you can't find the rationale out of there, then you've got to rethink it because it definitely is in there. To also just say, if you tell me nothing, then you don't have a reason to do research. So make sure that it's a powerful statement justifying why this is necessary to do. What would happen if I left this problem alone? And often it would be serious in terms of consequences. Any questions on that? Does anyone want to share their rationale with me? And remember, we're all in the same boat, so it really isn't embarrassing if it's slightly wrong. Anyone want to share their rationale with me? Oh, everyone is shy today. Go for it, Gabri.
I don't want to share mine because I don't have it yet, but I want to ask, do we need is there any kind of thing where we need evidence for that? Or
You can put in some evidence, but I think, yeah, if you can find evidence, that's fantastic. And there will
Okay,
be
but
research bits, you know, and you also see that in terms of evidence, high turnover, etc. So for me, your rationale is if we don't do it, we won't attract and retain people, and you can put in evidence for that. Okay.
okay,
So the
thank you.
justification. So if we look, sorry, hold on a second. Let me default to here. Um, I default to Arial. Sorry, guys, hold on a second. And remember, you've got wonderful examples of stuff to look at. Hey, where is hers? Problem statement, purpose statement. There's the rationale. So you'll see it changes order there. So you can see here that she's given quite a bit, but this is down the road, guys. This is really down the road. So you can justify through evidence and referencing the evidence. Okay. And remember to look at these other papers I've shared, guys. I would default to Brad and I would default to Ariel. Okay. They're not perfect, but they did well. They did really well. Right. And you can see what else. You know, I throw so much in. A lot of research is done overseas, so you can argue that it's not been done in South Africa, and we can't assume that the research will generalize. And there's additional bits and pieces that I've put in. Now, this is where it gets initially just a little bit cursory, because your second submission is your literature review. So we'll unpack in terms of the second submission quite significantly. Oh, gosh. The order is not the same as in the other one. Let me stick to this order. So your research questions, remember, if you are doing quantitative research, what is the relationship between your two variables? If you're doing qualitative research, remember an overarching, broadest single question you can ask about your specific research, and then your clarifying questions. Those clarifying questions, if I had to do something on social media marketing, I would imagine there would be a component of advertising, there'd be a component of feedback, there'd be a component of customer interaction, etc. Now, I'm not a marketer, so that's not ideal. But look at the sub-processes when you look for those sub-questions. In terms of the objectives, remember, and let me show you here quickly. It's this Ariel's. So in terms of hers, no, you don't, Gabri. You know you don't. So you reference my slides, but for the scripts, don't reference. I mean, the scripts you won't be able to infer from there that aspects of it has been copied, okay? So guys, remember, if you look at what she did, now I'm, again, not very happy with this, but you would all qualitative have explore, explore, explore. No, so boy, these are your research questions. The ones you're talking about would be the interview questions. So there's a difference. These are the broader things that guide the research. The interview questions, if you're doing qualitative research, will guide you through the actual interview. We talk about, and I don't want to throw new terminology at you, but we talk about collecting first order data. And the first order data is when we interview people. So there's a difference between your interview questions and your research questions. At this stage, we have research questions. Your interview questions will make an appearance when we look at your proposal. So this is what we're trying to address in terms of the research. Your interview questions is what you'll ask your participants if you're doing qualitative research. Does that make sense, Morgan? Guys are so quiet. I'm concerned that people aren't hearing me. Now, remember, in terms of this, these have to link directly. So your sub-questions link, oh, goodness me, now I can't even do it. Your sub-questions link this way. The first sub-question becomes your first research objective. Remember, I'm talking to qualitative research now, hey? And you will have to explore, because most of you have said you're going to explore. So to determine or to explore the benefits, and you can see how that links, what payment methods. So those have to align. And it's important in terms of the golden thread. Please remember this when you write this, guys, that there is this link between those two. What else is there? If we look at the quantitative research bit, so for quantitative research, you'll have a single question, and that question will be, what is the relationship between? And then from there, you'll have your hypotheses. I don't know where I'm going to find that now. So there is the research question. What is the potential of accepting that is there? And then there is a relationship and there is no relationship. So remember your null and alternate hypothesis. Do not confuse it. I'm talking to quantitative people now. So hopefully at this stage, you guys have deleted the stuff if you're doing quantitative that doesn't talk to you, and delete the stuff if you're doing qualitative that is not about qualitative. Okay, now the key theories. Oh gosh, hold on a second. The key theories. This guy, yeah, it is. So in terms of the key theories, at this stage, a lot of you will already have theories from me. Is that a fair comment? And Nadia, Neil, you've got a kill. I honestly, I think it's about 90% we've sorted with theories. Remember, if your supervisors change the theories, that's absolutely fine. Remember, we did this as a group of 60. Your supervisor will meet either individually or as a collective with their group of students. Okay, so remember to try and present those. In terms of here, and this is where it's a little bit silly. So give me your theories. If you have two theories, put two theories into your theories here, and then tell us who the major writers are in that field. This is a thumbsuck. Okay, if your themes are these by the time we actually get to the end, I'd be very surprised. So just make up something that looks logical. Go, Nadia.
Hi, sir. So in the module outline for the concept doc, it also says we have to write why we chose these theories, but the formatting of this concept document makes it difficult. It puts everything in like a very long, narrow column. So
Oh, crumbs. No, I
how do
don't
we
know.
write the justification for our theories? Because just the name of the theory and the
So
writers
this is, oh,
beneath it
crumbs.
perfectly, but
Oh,
the
shit. Okay.
justification is a mess.
I don't even know what to say. Create your own column and delete that one. Just create your own column. That's the best possibly. If somebody select all columns and merge. Thank you. That's easy enough to do. Clever, clever, clever. That's 25% extra. Okay, Nadia. Yeah. Oh, well done, Georgia. Well done. Okay. I don't know if it does it with this as well. I don't know if it's done it. I'm not even sure now. Merge. Okay. So your seminal authors. Yeah. So just a very, very, so your theory, a very, very brief description on the theory and why it's relevant. Okay. I should have known that, but I didn't even think of it, but I've not used the document. So, okay. And then your themes, it's obviously all of it is based on there. Your sources, okay. So that seems fine just to do it. Gabri, go for it.
I just want to confirm how many seminal authors is like expected.
I think, did you guys do Research Rabbit with the library?
I don't know. I didn't, but
I think they
did
showed
you?
it. Yeah, well, just go look
Oh,
at your field and type in seminal authors on your field. So whatever your research is, just say seminal authors. Definitely include the authors to these theories that you're using. But if you go into Google, oh golly, gosh, hold on, just your research again. There's so much happening. Gen Z in the workplace. I don't know what it'll give us. Okay. So you should find, I think this is also so young that we might not have plenty seminal authors, but I think, yeah, so there's some really good, just by searching that. Sure, that gave a really nice render. Sorry, Gabri, did you see that? That gave a
Um,
really nice render.
okay, I will just screenshot your prompt.
Okay.
But basically, would this, because this is not technically my theory, I don't think I really have a theory right now because you gave me one the last time, but I did change my topic a little bit.
Okay.
So, is what you're saying? This is the seminal authors maybe for my literature then, or
Well, so your theories could, your seminal authors could be part of your theories as well. But generally, people who create theories are the seminal authors.
oh, so
Yeah.
I was confused. Sorry. So are seminal authors, it doesn't mean just necessarily the theory, it just means about your topic in general. What's the seminal authors
Author in
for
that field. So if we
everything?
think strategic management, you guys will all know this one. Porter is a seminal author. If you think of Porter's Five Forces, Generic Strategies, Porter's Diamond, he also has he's also written extensively about sustainability. So Porter is, sorry, Gabri, to interrupt. Porter is a seminal author. Okay. So these are people that are acknowledged to be the knowledge bases within a particular field. But if you don't get all the seminal authors, it's not end of the world. Hey, you go look at other articles. For me, this is just early on, and I think you will find more as you go through it. But just give people something to work with. Okay.
Okay, so technically speaking, my seminal authors would be on who was speaking about Gen Z in the workforce
Yes.
first, because then
Yeah.
that wouldn't be very old.
Yeah, but also, but you don't have to be old to be a seminal author. If you've published a significant amount on Gen Z and people reference you, so often the more you get referenced, the more you get recognized as a seminal author.
Okay, so I would more so look at these people that spoke about Gen Z and not the people who maybe back in the day said that your generation is kind of relevant in terms of the workforce,
No, but
you know?
that's absolutely part of a seminal author because you are
Okay.
building up. Okay, so if I go, hold on. Hopefully it opens for me. Okay, I had asked that the library show you guys these. Okay, except, oh my gosh, why is it not picking up? I have been on this, so it's a bit bizarre. So if I go here, hold on a second. It's been a while since I've used this. Who has seen this stuff, guys? I search. That new collection. Yeah, Gen Z. Why am I doing this? Hold on. Okay. Right. So if I go and search, it's been a while, guys. So here it is Gen Z in the workplace. Now, I know that there are, so you'll find here are the sort of major people that have been referenced. So there's quite a lot there. Now, somehow I remember there is in this. Sorry, who has used this, guy? Sorry, it's been flipping ages since I've used this. Geez, did I? Sorry, I'm now floundering a bit. Sorry. When I did my stuff, this didn't exist. Mm-mm. No, it really is best for me not to think, guys. because somewhere here, it gives you the ability to see. It gives you the ability to see who the main writers are. Oh gosh, I don't know. Sorry, guys, it's been agents and I've not really used this. I'm so sorry. Just find the library link. I was told that they were doing this. Hold on a second. Let me just see. Okay, so this is where it takes you to. Okay, so I've downloaded, and what this does, it tells you who is the most referenced. Oh my gosh. So you can see in terms of that, these are the people. So the bigger the block there, the more they've been referenced, if that makes sense. Sorry, did they not? Absolutely, you can. Akil, you can use that as evidence, but try and include a bit of peer-reviewed stuff as well. Sorry, you guys, I was told you would be shown this in the library discussions. So you should be able to see on the basis of this which the main players are. Okay, sorry, this is, I should be more organized with that, but I am not, unfortunately. So no one has seen that as part of the library talk. I'm asking questions. Oh, shucks, man. Okay, I'll see what recordings I can get. Flippin' heck, I was told this would be done. Okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, your themes, just remember, it's a bit easier getting themes for quantitative research, but ultimately, I don't care about showing that you've used it. Oh, they said you can, but didn't show. Oh my gosh. Oh, geez, today. Guys, I wonder if it would be a little bit pushy for me to ask no, I'll be in trouble if I do. Let me just see what my day is tomorrow. Who can be available tomorrow? But I can't even promise. That's the problem. I can't promise. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. If I try and set up a meeting for 12 o'clock on Friday, no, it'll have to be midday because I'm asking. Oh, geez, guys. I'm asking someone from my home campus from Maritzburg to come and help. I don't know whether it's fair to ask Jared to work. He can take us through all of this, but it would have to be midday. Nadia, you waitressing midday. Hey, what we'll do is we'll make sure that we record. Is that an option? Oh, sorry, Nadia, I'm an idiot. Sorry, my apologies for that. I've been dealing with many people. Okay. Yeah, and if it's recorded, let me see if who will make it on Deirdre. Who am I got? Oh, Nadia and Deirdre. Oh dear Lord, help me. Okay. Let me see if I can get Jared to run something. I'll do it under the guise of doing it for my students because and then we'll record. If you can't make midday, then we'll sort something out. Okay. Right, let me see what I can organize. Okay, guys, let me see. I can't promise because I'm asking another campus. Yeah, I was told you were shown this. My apologies for that. So to go back here, right, and then just seminal sources. Yeah, other sources that you could use. So you could just do a search and fill in those sources. Don't get too carried away, guys. If you've got 5 additional sources, that's fine. And then your key concepts, remember those key concepts, those would be those definitions that are required to understand and effectively read this document. So just give us those key elements. I don't think it asks for us to explain the different elements. The paradigm, yeah, so nothing dramatic. I think I've done enough in the paradigm. Just remember, when you look at your paradigm, where is that now? Oh. So this is, which is the best slide for this. I think this is a pretty good slide to explain the different elements. So you'll either have your interpretivist approach or positivist approach. I think we know that at this stage. There's some really nice definitions. These are really nice explanations as well. Just use it and then find a reference that makes sense in terms of them. So very basic discussions. Again, it's a concept document. We're not elaborating at this stage. And then your research plan, I've given really good detail in terms of your research plan. It's this slide that is important. So we generally, where is that? So where is that summary? Okay, so look at the population. It's the overall group of individuals. From there, the target population that will form within our parameters. We're looking at people who live in Cape Town. Accessible population that we can actually include in our study. So you can see the idea of the target and accessible population. Again, maybe the target population would be the whole country, and then the accessible population could be in Cape Town. But we also know that people will do online interviews, etc. Also, you can do online surveys. So just reduce it to that. Sampling, just remember, another issue that my students encountered for qualitative, non-probability, purposive, and snowball sampling. And then in terms of quantitative probability, because people are given an equal opportunity to be selected, I would just do random sampling. Keep it simple, do random sampling. And then, data collection, open-ended, semi-structured interviews. And then in terms of your quantitative, you'll do a survey that will consist of a questionnaire. I would do Google Forms, but if you want to use Microsoft Forms, I don't know what access we'll have to Research Rabbit, but Google Forms is very powerful, and we can show you how to use it. And then data analysis. Please, if you are doing qualitative, suggest content analysis, and let's hear what your and remember, guys, inductive content analysis. We're not doing deductive research for qualitative, but if you're doing quantitative research, it is deductive, where we move from the theory and prove the theory within a particular context. And then, your analyses in terms of statistics, etc., you can talk about that. Please remember, we are taking this to correlation coefficient. So we are not just doing descriptive stats, which is mean, median, mode. I think we want to have people publish, so we need to push ourselves a little bit in terms of that. And ethical considerations, they're wonderful examples. I think, as I said, the best one is Jackie. I can't remember what her surname is. She had a really good layout in terms of that. Where is this silly thing? But my students generally would have been pretty good in terms of that. Jackie Grant, thanks, Georgia. So where is that? I can't even imagine where it is. Okay. Yeah, I can't find it now, and I'm annoying myself by trying to do this. Okay, you can look for it in here, guys. There it is. Anticipated contribution, ethical considerations, really well described there. Okay, so Ariel's is also very, very good. So that's where we are. But remember, we're still early stages. You've got 4 pages to do a heck of a lot. So remember, I suppose brevity is your friend, and editing will be your friend. So I'm meeting with my students at 7 o'clock tonight. Hopefully your supervisors will meet soon, and we'll move forward, guys. Obviously, we make provision for supervisors to receive a draft from you. Now, remember, we're not marking it twice. The draft is really just for broader feedback. But yeah, your supervisors will contact, and remember, you don't lose me. I'm still here for the entire period. Okay. Any questions, any concerns, any comments at this stage?